Hello and welcome. I'll explain how my ASP.NET application that is linked to SQL Server works with the AWS services. I want to introduce the structure of my project, so I started with the ASP.NET running in my computer. Then I published to AWS Elastic Beanstalk from Visual Studio. AWS Elastic Beanstalk creates an environment necessary to be able running in AWS in any browser, such as Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge, or Mozilla Firefox. The environment gets all the information, data of my ASP.NET app loaded in an EC2 Linux instance. The EC2 Linux instance with the ASP.NET app gets the Stripe payment resources and the URL images from the RDS SQL Server instance. The RDS SQL Server instance store the database with a table I created with SQL Server Management Studio inside the Windows EC2 instance. That way, I already have a complete ASP.NET running in AWS, not only with a simple design in the front end, but with an advanced design that allows to select an item within slider selector controlled with buttons to go from right to left or vice versa, and in the backend linked to RDS SQL Server and Stripe platform for payment. Here I have my app in Visual Studio, and I already published successfully to AWS Elastic Beanstalk on Linux. AWS Elastic Beanstalk is a service for deploying and scaling web applications and services, handling infrastructure, provisioning, and management tasks like load balancing and auto-scaling. It acts as a platform as a service PaaS, allowing developers to simply upload their code, written in languages like Python, Java, .NET, or Node.js, and let Elastic Beanstalk automatically manage the underlying Amazon EC2 instances, load balancers, auto-scaling groups, and other resources. In the AWS Explorer are all the services. I created a database with RDS working with SQL Server to store the items, images, and prices. I can also check all the EC2 instances I have created. So I click on the instances inside Amazon EC2. There's only one EC2 instance running, called .NET AWS Test Dev. Elastic Beanstalk automatically provisioned this EC2 instance to run the application on ASP.NET. AWS Elastic Beanstalk automates the deployment, scaling, and management of web applications and services, leveraging various AWS resources, including Amazon EC2 instances. I have another instance in Windows, where I have installed SQL Server Management connected to my RDS SQL Server instance. I can also check in the other tab, where I have the status available for the RDS SQL Server. Finally, I will click on the endpoint link. We can compare that the endpoint in Visual Studio, it's the same in my browser. Great, now I will test it. I want to select any image for a prefabricated house that will send me to a Stripe platform for payment. So I click on the checkout button. Now I will fill in the contact information and payment method, the card information, cardholder name, and the country. All the data here, it's been written only to test the app with available information for the Stripe payment platform. Great, the payment was successful. Then I can check in my Stripe account in the transactions to confirm and review if the payment was loaded in the platform. In the second part of this video, I will show all the AWS services I have to be possible it's running my app. As you can see, here I have SQL Server database available in RDS. This is the endpoint for the database that will connected with my app and the Windows EC2 instance, where I have installed SQL Server Management. Here I am in the Windows EC2 instance, and I have SQL Server with an items table. Now I want to show you how this image URL is connected to the ASP.NET app. In the Network tab, there are all files and data is coming to the app. Now we can realize that the image URL, it's the same in the Windows EC2 instance and the Network tab in DevTools from the Edge browser. We can also check the endpoint in RDS SQL Server database. It's the same in SQL Server Management Studio in the Objects Explorer from the Windows EC2 instance. We can also compare the instance ID and the DNS are the same data in the Windows EC2 instance. Finally, we will review Elastic Beanstalk. The app is working with an environment, and the environment is connected to the Linux EC2 instance created automatically when I launched the app from Visual Studio. As you can see, the domain in the environment from Elastic Beanstalk is the same endpoint in Visual Studio, and the environment status is OK. Great, I completed this explanation. First, the ASP.NET working, and second, the AWS services working too. If you want to know more about this app, you can explore my channel. Thanks for your attention.